For years, mankind has explored hidden powers of the mind. Most dismissed it as science fiction.
It is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what we're doing believing in all this nonsense over all these years.
But what if they were wrong? What if you could summon UFOs? With your mind. What if you had the power inside of you all this time? Would you try it? Would you be afraid? Or would you just go for it?
Because these are going nuts.
They're going off.
And you interact with them, you form a bond. Oh no, you can't record any of this. Turn it off.
Turn it off first.
Controversial, huh? That's my middle name.
It's like it turned on and got brighter for 1 second.
Yeah.
I know there's aliens inside there.
Did you see that, Patrick? Oh my god.
Did you hear that? Something is in the bushes right behind you, dude.
I'm ready to see something. If you're willing to show it to me, I'm open. I just want to see what you are. And I look up, and there are these orange lights that are just drifting above the tree line.
I just don't even know what I'm doing with my life.
What up, Bettas? We are in the house. It looks like we finally have the third tranche of UFO files released by the Trump administration through their Pursue Act. That is an acronym, Pursue. Today, Friday morning for some of y'all, Friday afternoon for me, because I'm in Spain. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we're going to go over the files just like we've done with the last two tranches, if you will. And we got some videos, images to take a look at, and some changes that they've made to the website as well. Yeah, we're just going to jump into all of this and take a look at it. So, as a tradition, something I like to do on these live streams is only take a few seconds. I'm going to ask, let me see, make sure I have this right before I start asking this. Put in the comments in the chat where you are watching from, and I'm going to shout it out. I just want to show everyone how global this topic is and how many people are interested across the globe. So hit me with it. Okay, we got Austria, we got Maryland, Ireland, Victoria, Australia, Netherlands, USA, Italy, Connecticut, Sydney, Shippensburg, Ottawa, Maryland, Ontario, Switzerland, Barcelona, vámonos, England, Maryland, Minnesota, Uruguay, Melbourne, New Hampshire, Portugal, France. Look at that. Florida. Y'all. Oh my God, too many for me to read. Egypt, Germany, Raleigh, Philippines, Saskatchewan, Alemania, Germany. We got Sweden, UK, Yorkshire, England, Brooklyn, New York, Northumberland. I fucked that up. Ithaca, San Diego, Japan. Oh my God, y'all. Look at all that. Oklahoma, Mars. Wow, they're really tuning in. UK, New Zealand, College Station, Texas. Shout out Texas, my home state. Alabama, Toledo, New Zealand, Poland, Tel Aviv. Is there anywhere I didn't say? Right? Look at all this. West Virginia. Oh my God, y'all. Killing it. Crushing it. Love it. Beautiful. Antarctica, El Salvador, vámonos. Boca Raton, Florida. Florida, love it. All right, y'all. What do you say we jump in and take a look at some of these files? And let me show you all some interesting changes that have been made. Oh, Canary Islands. I'll be going there soon. Look at that. All right, so if we take a look here, and let me know if this sounds okay. If this sounds not okay, just let me know in the chat. I think it's okay. But if it's not, let me know. Okay, so as you can see here, the Department of War just released the third tranche of records under Pursue. The first tranche was released on May 8th, and scroll down to view the third tranche released on June 12th, 2026. All right, so if we scroll down, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do real quick is for anyone that wants to, you'll see on the bottom, there's a nice little ticker that has the website of what I'm looking at. So if you want to look at this, by yourself, if you just don't want to see my face, if you want to look at it afterwards, feel free. war.gov/UFO. All right. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. So here's something interesting. What they've done is they've given you the ability to basically search by just the release, right? Because for some of y'all that remember, last time they were all kind of together and you had to do whatever. So now they've given you a better way to filter out the results, right? So you can just look at what was released, or you can look at release number 2, release number 1. And something interesting that they haven't done yet, and they're doing now, as you'll see on the screen, there's 2 highlighted bars here, right? Well, they've put featured. So they've featured 2 videos, right? So they're kind of telling us, look at these. These are special. These are featured. Now, I have to admit, the last tranche we got, there was balloons, literally, and birds. So let's hope these are not the featured ones. But regardless, let's take a look. Let's be objective here, and let's see what we got. All right. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the first video. All right, so this is from the FBI. The incident date is October 2024, and it's described as orbs over the pond. And this is a 4.5-minute video. So it says right here. In October 2024, at approximately 1851 local time, which is, for those of you who don't use 24-hour time, that is 6:51, right, in the evening. So it says at approximately 6:51 local time in the evening, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. almost, in the northeastern United States, an eyewitness observed a light source below the horizon, hovering above a pond at an estimated distance of 2,700 feet. The luminous object resembled a plasma-like sphere, intermittently changing shape and luminosity. At times, the primary light source appeared to separate into smaller luminous points. A luminous point below the primary source hovered just above the water and did not appear consistent with a surface reflection. The object remained generally stationary for approximately 45 minutes before disappearing. The eyewitness did not hear any sound from the objects. The video was captured by a private citizen on an iPhone and subsequently analyzed and authenticated by the U.S. government. To protect the individual's privacy, the footage has been cropped. Apart from this privacy protection measure, no edits, enhancements, or alterations have been made to the visual content. The description above is derived from statements provided to the Federal Bureau of Investigation by an eyewitness to the event. It says the FBI assesses the individual reported this event as highly credible. And boom, 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 file number, blah, blah, blah. All right. Are y'all ready? Let's take a look at this. So it looks like we got a vertical video here. There's no sound to the video. So in case you're wondering. All right, so we got a floating orb or floating light. Hmm. So is that the clouds around it? I know they said it was over a pond, but is that water? Is that supposed to be water underneath? This is highly zoomed in. Yeah, you can tell they've zoomed in. It's reached digital zoom, which is not good. I mean, again, it's another instance of really hard to tell. Why should I think this is an alien? Right? That's the question I would ask. Why should I think this is an alien? Okay, I think I'm starting to see. Is that the ground? That looks like trees, maybe. So the pond must be in the foreground. Huh. I mean, it's definitely reacting to the camera, and because it's low light, it's going to brighten up kind of on its own. You know, depends what model iPhone they have, what settings they're in. All right, there's a lot there to consider that could alter what that is. Now, granted, I just filmed my psionics documentary last summer and just released it. You showed the trailer there at the beginning. And something that I mentioned in the documentary, and I think it's apropos for right now, and something I experienced while I was filming, was that while I'm out trying to film with different types of cameras, I can relate to videos like this now, in the sense that it's really hard to capture this stuff with your iPhone, with a good camera, with whatever. Really hard to capture the experience you're having in person, right? So it would be interesting to hear this person's testimony, because this video on its own is so far nothing special, but it is potential that maybe their testimony would add some context. Because I would see things and then try to film it, and it just wouldn't come out at all like you were experiencing it in person. And if you could tell, it like loses luminosity. Like, is the luminosity that you're seeing because of the camera and it's trying to brighten it up for you, or it's because that's actually how the object was? Again, that's why hearing the direct witness testimony or a report from them would be really helpful, because this on its own, I mean, they're calling it an orb for no other reason than it's just a placeholder, right? Doesn't mean this is a plasma ball of some sort. There's no proof of that. And they're taking videos from private citizens who they deemed highly credible. I mean, that's kind of interesting, right? The FBI. And they featured this video, right? They're highlighting this video as this is important. And this is filmed in the northwestern part of the United States. And they did say it hovered for 45 minutes. It does seem lower than what you're looking up at the sky and seeing things moving. This seems much lower. But they're saying it's not a reflection. At least that's what they're determining. So, okay, well, we looked at that one. Just put in the comments what you think. Again, really hard to really make a determination, right? It's kind of like, okay, that's about as far as I can go. Okay. All right, this is from the northeastern part, right? This says northeastern orb sighting. Another featured video from the FBI. This is from July 2025. All right, let me read this. In July 2025, at approximately 9 p.m. local time in the northeastern United States, an eyewitness observed an intense bright light in their backyard as they parked their car upon returning home from work. The light was hovering approximately 25 feet off the ground below a tree line near the center of their backyard at an estimated distance of 90 feet. The eyewitness exited their vehicle briefly before retrieving their phone to record the event. The spouse of the eyewitness came outside to assess the situation. The spouse also witnessed the light, describing it as a brilliant red sphere about 1 meter in diameter. The center of the red sphere appeared to be a white plasma sun about the size of a basketball. The orb slowly rose and moved to the left. Both eyewitnesses observed a second, identical orb hovering above the other orb. The eyewitness then began recording the event using an i14 Pro Max. That's an interesting detail they didn't mention in the other one. Capturing the footage depicted in this video. As the eyewitness began recording, the orbs moved westward together above a nearby tree line. The witnesses described the orbs' motion as silent and smooth and as moving in tandem as though they were flying in formation or tethered together. As the orbs moved out of sight, both eyewitnesses saw them appear to merge. Eyewitnesses estimated that the orbs moved from their initial position before disappearing from view at an estimated distance of 75 yards. This observation occurred within 25 miles of the triangle orbs, red orb rotation, and orbs over the pond, sightings at a location well known to them, which is sparsely populated. So, okay. Interesting. So they're saying this is in relation to a few other videos we're about to see, all within a 25-mile area. But how can that be? Because this observation occurred within 25 miles of, and then it says orbs over the pond. That's a video we just watched. They said that was in the northwestern United States. They're saying this is northeastern. That makes zero sense. Right? That doesn't make sense. There's no way it's within 25 miles. Maybe 2,500 miles. Does anyone know how big America is? So that's already wrong information right there. All right, let's just take a look at it. It's 49 seconds. This is also another vertical video. And there is no sound to this one either. Oh, this is much clearer. You know, I have a video just like this in my documentary, Psionics. Oh, it's moving behind the trees. Yeah, I have a video just like this from Clint Weldon from Night Shift, who provided it to me. Could those be, just throwing out prosaic explanations here, could those be, what do they call those things? The light with the candle you put in it and it takes off. Chinese lanterns. Let's take a look at that again. There's only 6 or 7 videos, so we can spend a little more time on each video today. Definitely feels like they're moving in tandem. I agree with that. And again, they do move behind the tree. Is one carrying the other, right? Is the one at the bottom hanging from the other one? I don't think so. They kind of move position a little bit. Okay, kind of ends there. What's interesting, though, is about the details they give, right? So a lot of their story is not caught on camera, right? So that's interesting. Looks like there's a PDF here. Let me just see this. Good Lord, why can't I? See if I can zoom in on that. No, that's not working. Was interviewed Microsoft Teams. So they did a Microsoft Teams interview. Okay, so they're just it's the same thing we read. So same thing that they put in the description that we already read, essentially. So I guess that's the official report that they got that information from. All right, that's cool. Happy they provided that. All right, let's move on to the next. So again, before we move on to the next video, those are 2 featured videos, right? So they're separating these videos from the rest. They're featuring these as being, I would imagine, the best, right? And if you remember, Representative Luna recently said in a New York Times interview, I covered it in a video, that the meat and potatoes has already been released. So this would be the cheesecake, the dessert here. What are we getting? Is this the fortune cookie at the end of the meal? All right, let's go to the third video. This is described as, quote, triangle orbs. That's the name of it. Northeastern United States, 2021. Let's read the description. In November 2021, at approximately 5 a.m. local time in the northeastern United States, an eyewitness observed a bright light source near the horizon at an estimated distance of 2,000 feet. The light source initially appeared as a single intense luminous object before resolving into multiple lights exhibiting erratic rotational motion relative to one another. The object slowly moved laterally from left to right during the encounter. The eyewitness captured the video with a handheld iPhone 12 Pro, resulting in unintended camera movement. The location was well known to the eyewitness and is sparsely populated. So they're saying this is near the other one, within 25 miles. So it sounds like it could be like a Chinese lantern event that they all captured. Right? That's giving more credence to that, to be honest with you. But let's look at it first. We haven't seen it. So let's take a look. All right, no sound on this. I mean, an iPhone 12 is not a good iPhone. All right, it's dark for everybody. For me too. There's literally nothing on the screen. Let's give it a second. I'm assuming it's going to come back any second now. There it is. Kind of see it. Yeah, they're having a tough time keeping this steady. So far, not seeing anything, quote, special here. It's out of frame. So there it is at the bottom. Again, I can relate to how difficult these things could be to record. It's still out of frame. There it is. I got it back. I mean, clearly in person, they must have thought this was more special, because what we're seeing on the video is not special in any way. And the movement you're seeing, honestly, is from the camera. Most of it. It's hard to tell, too, because there's no point of reference in the video. You can see another light source to the left there. And they are connected, those 2 light sources. This might be just lights on a building or in a tree, you know what I mean? Like, Interesting. Okay. All right, there's still more time here. It's black frame. Nothing here. Let's see if it comes back in to frame. And nothing. All right. I mean, if I'm just going off the initial reaction, I would say that's pretty disappointing. All right. So this is called red orb rotation, northeastern United States, 2022. Again, this is all supposed to have taken place in the same 25-mile area as a couple of the other videos we've seen. All right. In March 2022, at approximately 7:20 p.m. local time in the northeastern United States, an eyewitness observed two bright red luminous light sources hovering near the horizon at an estimated distance of 2,500 feet. Both luminous objects maintained generally stationary positions throughout the encounter. The lower light source appeared to rotate slowly relative to the upper light source, moving from an apparent 6 o'clock position to slightly beyond the apparent 9 o'clock position. The eyewitnesses did not hear any sounds from the light sources. The eyewitness captured this video using an iPhone 12 Pro at a location well known to them, which is sparsely populated. So it sounds very similar to the other one. I will admit these are all different dates, so it's not like it's the same incident they're recording. So what I said earlier doesn't really make sense, but let's just take a look at it. This looks eerily similar to the other video. Again, the camera is going to make it look and do things that it's probably not doing. You zoom in far enough, and this is what happens to lights you're trying to film. See all that weird noise it's making, and it looks like an orb, you know, something Chris Bledsoe would post up. And it's really, that's not what's happening at all. And the two lights do seem connected. But it's so far away, they're having to zoom in at it. And it's going to distort it. And they're using an old iPhone. You're just not going to get good footage to be able to distinguish anything from this. And this is where we're at. This is what the Trump administration is releasing to us as, quote, UFO files. I mean, they allegedly have videos of alien craft in 4K, yet this is what we get. Quite literally impossible for anyone to determine what this is. And on top of that, nothing about this screams anomalous, right? Or extraordinary in any way, shape, or form. And this is the best stuff that the FBI has. Or at least that's what they're saying. You know, I saw Disclosure Day yesterday. I got a video coming out later, a non-spoiler review. And even in that movie, the movie, they show you things you wish you could see on videos, right? Like this kind of stuff you would hope they would release. But this is nothing, unfortunately. Again, the personal in-person experience may be far different from this, and you'd want to hear from that person. But fortunately, that's pretty disappointing. That's just my opinion. Yeah, think whatever you want. If you think something different, all good. All right, this is interesting. Okay, so this is a digital recreation from Narrative Statement 3.1 in the Western United States, a Western United States event 2023. It says this video is an artistic interpretation of a reported incident near a sensitive national security site in the Western United States involving unidentified anomalous phenomena over a period of 2 days in October 2023. This digital recreation is based upon a first-hand description provided by a federal law enforcement special agent as described in DOW UAP D081. All right, and then we've got several files from this. So 81 is this top one. We're putting a few together here. All right. Oh, wow. Okay, so they got a lot of images, PDFs. All right, let's take a look at it. Remember, this is not a real video. Let me just reiterate that. I'm about to show you is a digital recreation of an event that was described by a law enforcement special agent. An orange orb with little red orbs coming out of it. Okay, that's probably the worst digital recreation I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I could have done better myself, 1,000 times better. That's pretty bad. But I have heard. I want to say it's Burleson, if I remember correctly, describe something similar in the sense of an orange orb with little red orbs coming out of it. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that that's the case. Is what Burleson's talking about the same thing as this? I don't know. But there is a lot of witness statements that come with it and images and whatever. Let's just take a look at. Okay, so this is a different incident. So it's saying United States involving unidentified anomalous phenomena over a period of 2 days, right? Over a sensitive national security site. So this one seems like it's in the middle of the road. I guess we'll get to those later. But let's just go one video at a time. We're almost done. We've got one more. This is a little confusing the way they have this set up, to be honest with you. They should just do the event and then put everything that goes with it. I guess that's kind of what they're doing, but not really. It's a little confusing. Anyway, this video is an artistic interpretation of a reported incident near a sensitive national involvement over 2 days. Okay, so same thing, right? Same time period, same 2 days in October 2023. Looks like just a separate incident. So we had the red, the orange glowing orb over a little mountain with the red orbs coming out of it, and then we have this one. Let's take a look at it. Again, not a real video. Well, it looks like Phoenix, doesn't it? So we got some red orbs. Is it 4 or is it just meant to be 1 orb moving? And it's just trying to show you the movement. Bro, these are bad. These are bad artistic interpretation, like really bad. Good Lord. I mean, the images are so much better. All right, so we've seen all the videos released. Just FYI. All right, let's take a look at some of these images from that same incident. You can tell October 2023. So all the images we have are from some of these incidents. Okay, so I guess there was an orb over a mountain here. You can see, right, the top there. That's that. Not good. And then it moved. Oh, good Lord. Seriously? Okay. And it looks like there's little orbs coming out of it. A couple of guys seeing what could be the moon. I don't know. Clearly not the moon, but all right. So they're seeing an orb over a little hillside. There's no description of these. There are in the witness statements, which we can look at those. Same thing. Same thing. Okay, so it's just giving us different versions of it. So now it's got like a little dot in the middle. Okay. And then little orbs coming out of it. So that seems to be what a lot of the witnesses saw. Bright, some sort of a glowing orb and little orbs coming out of it, which is definitely what Burleson described. Same thing. Little orbs coming out of it. Okay, so now this is a little different. We got a car parked in front of a car, looking out, seeing all these orbs and what looks to be like a triangle shape there at the top. Again, these are not real images, digital renderings. Okay. All right, we got some audio from, we'll come back to those incident. Again, I wish they just put the incident and then every file that pertains to it instead of you go to the video, like it's kind of all mixed. But let's listen to some of this audio. So I'm just going to kind of roll through a bunch of this stuff and we'll see if we can come back and take a closer look at some of them. All right, so this says this is an interview with astronaut Gordon Cooper. It says in November 1962, journalist Walter Cronkite interviewed astronaut Gordon Cooper. In this excerpt from that interview, Cronkite asked Cooper about his views regarding the nature of unidentified flying objects, having previously expressed an interest in the subject. Cooper opines that, quote, a large number of exceptionally well-qualified people have seen objects, end quote, without a, quote, logical explanation, end quote, and speculates on the existence of other planets with, quote, a livable atmosphere, end quote, and that maybe there are, quote, some type of human life, end quote, out there. Interview was conducted November 1962. Let's take a look.
Gordo, you expressed interest at one time in unidentified flying objects, the feeling that there might be something to all these stories. Do you still feel that way?
Well, I feel that there have been a large number of fairly well qualified, or exceptionally well qualified, I should say, people who have seen objects that have not had any really logical explanation other than this. I think that maybe, in fact, each and every one of them does have an explanation. But I think that there are so many possibilities, so many thousands of possibilities of other planets out somewhere in the universe that would have a livable atmosphere that I would hate to rule out the possibility that maybe there are people or some type of human life on some of these. And if this is the case, then it's not too unfeasible to think that perhaps some of these objects might have been something of this type.
You don't think that the comparatively short step out into space that the Mercury flight will take you on is far enough out to make any observations in this area?
No, I think we're still at a fairly low order of getting out into space when you speak of space and being millions of miles involved. We're only getting out 100 miles or so.
What about the so-called Glenn effect, Gordo? The snowflakes, the fireflies. Now both Schirra and Carpenter seem to feel that it's frost of some nature off of the capsule, but apparently Glenn still sort of cast doubt on that theory.
Well, that sounds like an interesting interview, worth checking out. The rest of that for sure. Gordon Cooper, interviewed by Walter Cronkite, November 1962. You know, I was just thinking, guess what movie comes out today? Disclosure Day. I mean, it's already been released a few places. They've already been doing shows, of course. I mean, I saw it yesterday. But worldwide, today is the release date, right? June 12th, Friday, June 12th. And they released this. I think they're trying to ride the piggyback of the Disclosure Day for sure, without a doubt. But all right. I mean, again, these are the kind of stuff that you just gets released normally on the National Archives and stuff, right? What is so special about this stuff? Like, let's keep going. Oh, this is an hour and 36 minutes. That's not happening. We are not going to listen to an hour and 36 minutes here. All right, it says this debriefing includes presentations from principal investigators of various Apollo experiments. The principal investigators describe preliminary results of their work to educate the Apollo crews about what they've obtained from Apollo 16 to help prepare for Apollo 17. They also describe anomalies such as a flash that was observed that had not yet been reported. The flash is mentioned beginning at 25:15. All right, that's what we're going to go to. And again, the link is war.gov/UFO. You can go listen to this entire briefing, 1 hour and 36 minutes, which I'm not saying isn't interesting. I mean, I listen to podcasts all the time. This could be something for a nice walk and just listen. Could be very interesting in and of itself. But let's listen to specifically this timestamp that they have mentioned at 25 minutes and 15 seconds. Here we go.
The next couple of years. And of course, we'll be using that in the S4B impact from the next mission. I'd like to turn to one observation reported from orbit that has interested us a great deal, and that was the flash that was reported. I haven't seen, I understand the transcript hasn't yet been typed.
I haven't seen it yet, so that's my only hope for pinning down the time. If you get it to about 5 minutes with that, I think.
If you can help us pin down the time and roughly the location, and we'll certainly look at our records, and that would be an important piece of data if we recorded that. I would like to ask, was this a colored flash or a white flash?
It was white.
How does it differ from the kind of thing you get with a cosmic ray impact on your brain?
I didn't see any of those.
He didn't see any of those.
I see.
Redhead.
Well, we're very much excited by that. As far as I know, it's the first report of a transient event of some nature that's been seen from orbit.
I just have to wait for I should have written it down, and it didn't occur to me to write it down.
Did we get a time on it and all, Ken? Or
It's on the DSC.
it's on the DSC.
And if I ever get that, I'll...
Well, then we would correlate any information we get from the seismic interfaces. Yeah, how about its persistence? Did it just...
No, it was just a flash, and the way I happened to notice it, I was looking at a horizon that was showing up from solar corona or zodiacal light, whatever you want to call it, in that region. It was very shortly after we lost the signal from Earth, and I was watching stars pop up over the horizon, and got this flash, which was in size was about, I wasn't looking directly at it at the time it happened down in the side of my vision, but it was brighter than the brightest star that I had in the field of view at the time, and I had the feeling that it was in physical or angular size, it was equivalent to the size of the larger stars in my perceived vision. But it was just an instantaneous flash, and it took a couple of seconds for it to soak into me that it wasn't just a star popping up over the horizon, but rather it had been distinctly below the horizon.
Is there a way for me to get that transcript? I don't know if I would normally get it.
I'm glad you asked.
Oh, that's it?
And I forgot to mention this in the opening remarks, but we have about 50 copies of this technical air-to-ground voice transcription right back there, and for the PIs and the co-Is, and there's a copy for you, Gary, back.
Gary, that's not what you're after.
No.
I
Be on
need
that.
the tape recorder.
Yeah.
Oh, the DSE?
Yeah.
And that hasn't been completed as far as I know.
Okay.
Now, one other thing that I'd like to mention is, from orbit, it appeared to me that there was a distinctly different unit up around North Ray and the area that I'd say a third to a half of the traverse to North Ray went across. And that may or may not fit in with your seismic deltas.
That at some point between North Ray and the LEM, they would cross a contact of some kind.
Yes.
Well, except to add my thanks for a very fine deployment. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions from the floor?
My understanding is this flash will not send S4B impact.
Well, I don't know whether the S4B hit, but this is on the backside of the limb, so I would assume that the S4B didn't hit there. And it's well after that, like a couple of days, lunar days.
Where did the S4B impact?
Oh, it hit about 150 kilometers north of Station 12.
When you mentioned you observed a star there, do optics or through the outlook?
No, the time I was doing this, I was looking out the window, and I had darkened the cockpit in preparation for one of the low light level photographic exercises. And that's how I happened to be noticing that there was this distinct horizon, which surprised me. And I just happened to be kind of puzzling over that at the time.
Jerry. Any other questions?
Stars we seen from service.
No. Not with your visors down.
Visors up?
I never looked with the visors.
Supposed to do that. I suspect from what we saw on EVA on the way home that the inner visor alone has sufficient attenuation to block out stars.
But you could see them from the through the AOT and the lunar module, and that's, of course, that has a light shield around it. On our last alignment, even with a crescent Earth in the AOT, we could see Arknar really so good that we didn't even have to roll up the window shades in the cockpit. So with a proper, if you look through a tube, I'm sure you could see every star up there.
The only thing we saw on the lunar surface was the Earth, and you had to, it was directly overhead. That was the only thing I saw in the sky.
John, when you're looking through the sight on the camera, did you see anything besides
You see your helmet reflected. That's what you see. You have to raise your visor to get all that, so you can get rid of all those reflections.
Okay, next one is active seismic experiment. Dr. Kovacs.
All right. Again, if you want to listen to the rest of that, it's an hour and a half debrief. Go check out the link, war.gov/UFO. But that was the main part they wanted us to check out, was at the 25 timestamp mark where a flash was seen, right, by one of the astronauts, and they just spoke about it. It's interesting to see them thinking about the stuff and trying to give explanations and just dealing with it very rationally and grounded. I like that. All right. Got one more audio file. All right. This is an hour-long briefing, Apollo 16 scientific briefing. It says, at 32:41, the speaker makes an offhanded comment. Could be an alien starbase or something. I don't know. when discussing correlations between experimental data sets. Okay. That's going to catch people off guard. Let's take bets on if there'll be a laugh after he says that. My guess is yes.
Scientific justification for connecting the two results.
I will add, they remind you the gamma ray.
Yes, that's true.
Secondary peak is also a Van de Graaff. I don't know what it means.
Could be an alien star base or something. I don't know. Anyway, the next slide shows the front side of the moon. And
Called it.
it's upside down. The thing to contrast is the much smoother nature. Could we do a 180 on the slide, please?
All right, so that's it. That's the one comment, right? And clearly they just move on from that. I mean, it just sounded like a joke, offhanded comment, joke, right? And again, this is what we're getting. Yikes. Yikes. All right, let's we got 53 PDFs, and there's quite a few that are featured. Let's just take a look here. Just curious. A never before released July 2008 report on a UFO sighting at the Harar International Airport. Individuals debated if the sighting was an advanced reconnaissance device of a foreign government or of extraterrestrial origin. Okay. Let's take a look at this a little bit closer. All right, let me bring this up. Hang on. Stay with me. All right. Let's see if to White House Situation Room, Washington, D.C. Blah, blah, blah. Navy, Washington, D.C. Okay. Oh, good Lord. George Meade. All right, let's get down to the information report right here. So, pass. DIA for terrorism. Central Intelligence Agency. Information report. Not finally evaluated intelligence. Warning. Sensitive intelligence sources and methods involved. Okay. And I mean, I don't see anything in here. Zimbabwe, foreign posturing. It says nothing about extraterrestrial. Whatsoever. So it says one of three. Got it. Okay, so I guess I've got to download this. Oh, here we go. Hang on. All right, I got an idea. Stay with me. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's take a look. All right, so nothing on this first page. Okay, here we go. It says, redacted, was reporting from Zimbabwe, redacted, regarding an unidentified object hovering at high altitude over the Harar International Airport. This object was observed, possibly by both radar and optical means, in the skies above Harar during the afternoon of July 2nd, 2008. Reporting, redacted, indicated that the object hovered at an undetermined altitude directly over the Harar Airport. At one point during the observation, beams were observed emanating from the object. Well, fucking hell. Individuals, redacted, who were aware of the incident had debated whether the object was an advanced reconnaissance device belonging to a foreign government or whether the object was an unidentified flying object of extraterrestrial origins. According to observers, redacted, the object was disc-like in shape with a hollow center and had a series of rotating lights on the underside of the airframe. After a period under observation from the ground, the rotating lights under the object shifted colors and the object quickly ascended to higher altitudes and out of visual range. Regardless of the origins, this incident, redacted, had resulted in the decision to place the Zimbabwe blank on high alert. All right, I mean, that's kind of interesting, right? I don't know. That's, I mean, all right. Hang on, we got more stuff. Let me bring it up. Let me see how many files is this. Good Lord. Okay. All right, stay with me here. We got a 25-page document. It's declassified. 1949. It just looks cool, doesn't it? Department of the Army, General Staff, United States Army, Plans and Operations Division, Records and Message Branch. Flying saucers. Right there. Boom. Flying saucers. Oh, it says February 24th, 1949. Okay, here we go. This says conversations with the chief of North AMBR and Office Deputy Director P&O. I don't know what that means. Reveal that P&O has not received any evaluation of the flying saucer type of phenomena. North AMBR feels that P&O and themselves in particular have a direct interest in this phenomena because until it is properly evaluated, a possibility exists that this phenomena may have foreign implication. Number 1 2ID requesting evaluation study of the phenomena. Let's see, Wright Patterson, Kirkland. Okay, dispatch. Oh, I can't read that. Right here, subject study. Right here, study of the phenomena flying saucers. Again, same. This is all the same incident. Okay, here we go. This is interesting. Evaluation study of phenomena. Detailed investigations of all incidents reported to involve unusual flying objects during the period June 19... Man, does that say 45? I think it does. June 1945 to date have been conducted by Special Project Group of Headquarters, Air Material Command, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. The continuing efforts of this project are directed towards establishing the identity of each unusual object reported. Single or seemingly related incidents which appear to involve objects that might represent some unusual man-made device or activity are fully explored by both the AMC project personnel and other specialists, such as those of the RAND Corporation. Of some 210 incidents, approximately 20% have been explained. The majority of these involve misidentification of synoptic weather balloons. Others involve operations of airborne cosmic ray research equipment, bolides, I don't know what that word is, meteors, and in one instance, the daylight observation of the planet Venus. Only 2 reported incidents were determined to have been hoax. To date, there have been no tangible evidence which would support a theory that any incidents are attributed to activity of a foreign nation. There are no highly secretive experimental projects of the U.S. government that could be responsible. The possibility of foreign devices would represent achievements which defy many well-defined limits in aeronautical science. That's interesting. The Air Material Command of the United States Air Force is continuing investigations of each unexplained incident. They're using consulting services, formulation, okay, sightings that still lack. They're still trying to find explanations for sightings that still lack positive identification. Interesting. The ID feels that if complete data were available, the remaining 80% of the reported sightings could be eliminated as due to natural meteorological phenomena or domestic weather balloons and the like. The large number of actual reports of unidentified objects is thought to be primarily due to the publicity given flying saucers in the public print and in some official circles. Huh. Okay. That's kind of interesting. So this is April 5th, 1949. Flying saucers. So it just seems like they're okay. This is interesting, y'all. We're gonna go down to let's start with number one. Okay, right here, number one. The evaluation study of phenomena and enclosure one here too represents the current intelligence division GSUSA evaluation of the quote flying saucer. Number two, let's go here. With reference to paragraph 2 of comment number 1, CSGID recognizes the Internet of Defense planners and any object capable of being, quote, shot all the way from Russia, and will continue to keep the matter under scrutiny. Any chance in the evaluation contained in enclosure number 1 will be promptly transmitted to CSGPO. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Number 3, CSGID is unable to verify Mr. Winchell's statement that, quote, flying saucers are now definitively known to have been guided missiles shot all the way from Russia. Interesting. Okay. And has no information as to the basis for the statement or information on which it may have been based. It is, however, possible that Mr. Winchell published this item in an attempt to obtain some official statement from the name on the subject. So they're trying to say they did see flying saucers, and they're trying to say they're guided missiles from Russia, but this statement is saying they're unable to verify that. Interesting. And there's definitely some things to get information on, right? They're trying to verify the accuracy of Mr. Winchell's statement and obtain, if possible, the source of his information. I agree. So it says, number 1, references made to comment number 1 from this office, February 1949, with evaluation study of phenomena that broadcast by commentator Walter Winchell on April 3rd, 1949 are flying saucers. If Mr. Winchell's statement is correct, then these flying saucers will be of tremendous interest to our national defense planners. Of course. Okay, that's interesting. All right, man, I don't see anything. I mean, there's a lot to go through, right, with all this stuff. All right, hang on. Let's go to another one. There's a lot to go through here, y'all, so we're just going to kind of brush through it. All right, this is from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Hang on. Oh, I got to bring it up. All right, here we go. Forensic sketch interview. And close with the following items. Sketch draft. On June, redacted 2024, blah, blah, blah. Blank was interviewed at 26 Federal Plaza, New York. Special agent, operations, forensic artist. After being advised of the identities provided the information to aid in the forensic recreation of the unidentified aerial phenomena and its activity observed over Cheyenne Mountain. That's not good. So it says on February, redacted at approximately 11:25 a.m., redacted, a former U.S. Army intelligence officer, along with 4 other members of his unit, observed a UAP over the Cheyenne Mountains as they exited their office building. Described the day as the perfect bluebird sky, as there were no clouds, little humidity, with a temperature of approximately 50 degrees Fahrenheit. The object was, quote, potato-shaped with distinct edges and appeared to look painted in a creamy whitish opalescent color, kind of like a Tic Tac, right? That's basically what they're describing. It was somewhat translucent with a slight shimmer. The object was made up of what can be described as articulating fish scales or panels that were non-symmetrical, non-overlapping, and irregular shaped. The object itself was perfectly still, but each panel on the object shifted in slow waves, starting at different points of origin, but at the same time. After approximately 2 minutes, the object vanished. Redacted specifically stated that the object cloaked in the space of time it took to turn ahead, and there was no shadow. Blank and initial sketch draft was attached. Forensic artist. All right, let's see the. And no sketch. Come on now. Why wouldn't we get that sketch? That's some bullshit. Damn, it would have been nice to see that sketch. I mean, it sounds like a special project just the U.S. was working on, honestly. That's what I'm seeing. All right, let's continue here. Ah, got it. Here's the sketch, y'all. We got a sketch of that incident. You ready? Boom. I mean, that does look like a potato in the sky. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, if you saw something like that, right? That is definitely. So that's what those people described right there. And it cloaked itself immediately, they're saying, when they turn their head. All right. Let's keep going. All right. Let's bring this next one up. All right, let's see here. Returned home that night at approximately 9:15 p.m. Eastern. I was pulling into their driveway, which slopes downhill towards their residence. Noticed an intense bright light hovering below the tree line in the middle of the backyard. So this was the video that we saw already. One of the videos that we saw. This is the incident report of that particular. All right, we're not gonna take a look at that. We already saw that video. The same thing with all these here. These right here, these, let's see. Yeah. Let's bring this up on the screen. Okay, so right here, this northeastern orb sighting, that's just the reports from the video we already saw. All right, again, these are featured files. So let's take a look. This looks like could be the same one as well. Let's see how big this is. All right, hang on. All right, here we go. FBI issued May 24, 2007. Federal Bureau of Investigation. First Presbyterian Church, McMinnville, Oregon. McMinnville. We've all heard of that. This is a letter written to Mr. J. Edgar Hoover in Washington, D.C. Dear Mr. Hoover, here's a bit of information which may be of great significance, maybe merely an observation of a scientific experiment. It may be known by military authorities and the AEC, or only a few may have seen it, and none reported it to the right place. Here it is. Can you pass it to the right persons? Last May, one afternoon, I saw 4 beams in the sky passing from the northwest to the southeast and converging in the Cascade Mountains. In those 4 narrow beams, small clouds were forming, and where the beams met apparently against the mountains, a great explosion effect was to be seen. I would say that they were visible for at least 10 minutes or longer. The sight brought to mind an article read before the war. Oh my God. Pardon me. Oh, goodness. It's got me all worked up. The site brought to mind an article read before the war about experiments carried on in Europe with various types of radio beams to affect rainfall. I would guess that I had seen the article in the Science Digest. The Columbia River flood of last summer, the unusual precipitation this winter have forced me to feel that this observation of mine should be sent somewhere in the interest of national security. I have one son in the Air Corps and another works for the AC at Hanford, which caused me to pray for peace, as well as the fact that as a minister, I deplore the waste and tragedy of war. There's one reason I have refrained from passing on information ideas that might incite warlike attitudes. May I add these words to paragraph 2? The explosion effects seem to rise to a height of about 10,000 feet. Okay. And it's from Reverend Charles C. Barnes. And then J. Edgar Hoover responded, just saying thank you for sending this information. That's it. I mean, that's not that. They featured that. Interesting. All right, let's see what this is. USA, Colorado, an airborne object over Cheyenne Mountain in February 2022 was possible backscattering of sunlight. A lot of redactions. Do I want to? All right, let's just go over it. They're featuring this. They're saying, take a look at this, right? The Department of War releasing these UFO files. They're saying this particular PDF we should look at. Let's figure it out. An airborne object over Cheyenne Mountain, Colorado was observed by 5 U.S. Army service members at Fort Carson, Colorado at 9:35 a.m. Mountain Time on February 15, 2022, and was possibly backscattering of sunlight. Blank has low confidence in this assessment based on uncertainty in the field of view of each witness, amount of snow cover, and exact elevation and amount of cloud cover. No anomalous data or characteristics were recorded or assessed, and the event did not represent an unknown adversarial capability. Then why are we talking about it? All right, redacted. According to the accounts of 5 U.S. Army service members, February 22, an airborne object was observed approximately 6 miles to the west, over and slightly behind the Cheyenne Mountain silhouette for approximately 30 to 180 seconds. The witnesses described the object as roughly the size of a large jet and resembling an angular, non-symmetrical potato made of uneven panels, which was completely stationary about 300 to 500 feet above Cheyenne Mountain while slowly changing shape. It had a slightly translucent, shimmering white appearance with defined edges and a milky shimmer that reflected sunlight. The witnesses noted that the sky was clear, and despite keeping their eyes on the object, it suddenly disappeared. So it sounds like the exact same object the other people saw, that potato, white-looking potato tic-tac thing that we saw earlier. Sounds like they saw, and this happened over Cheyenne Mountain. I mean, it's literally the same story, but two different incidents. The sun was positioned altitude of about 27.5 over the horizon and roughly at an azimuth of 125, casting shadows toward the northwest and providing soft angled light. According historical, the National Water and Climate Center reporting snow depth on Cheyenne Mountain likely range from 6 to 12 inches, although witnesses reported clear blue skies. Okay. Interesting. So analysis possibly indicates that the positioning of the sun in relation to Cheyenne Mountain would allow for a backscattering of sunlight reflecting off snow-covered ground. This reflection could illuminate low-level clouds in the vicinity, which might account for the visibility of the object, followed by its sudden disappearance. It is possible that either the clouds or the sun shifted slightly, causing the reflection to vanish. Blank has low confidence in this assessment based on uncertainty in the field of view of each witness and exact level of cloud cover. All right. And this is important. It says, no aircraft or balloons were noted active in or around Cheyenne Mountain during the time the witnesses saw the airborne object. Okay. All right. So that's the last. All right. There's a ton of files, 52 PDFs, y'all. Not going to go through all these. That's a lot. We'll have to see what comes to the top. But we've looked at all the video files, all the images, the artist renditions, recreations, some PDFs here, some files. Definitely just go take a look. If you want to see more, I'm sure some of this stuff is going to bubble up. But remember, Representative Luna said that the meat and potatoes of the files has already been released, right? And there has been really nothing interesting or compelling in any of this so far. Maybe some interesting things just from a historical perspective. But as far as anything that's like screams alien spaceships or alien bodies, I haven't seen anything. So again, I'll put the website up on the screen if you want to check it. Otherwise, we're going to go to some comments. So war.gov/UFO if you want to go check it out. But let's talk about this a little bit. All right, Robert Nunanelli, super sticker. Thank you, Robert. Robert, another super sticker. Wow, okay, Robert's just hitting us with super stickers. Look at this. I think he just wants us to see his beautiful profile. Thank you, Robert. This is from Open Door Policy Podcast. More gaslighting BS so Spielberg can make his billion this weekend. I'm over this. Corbell as well. Now we get another week of him saying more circle talk. Okay. And remember, Disclosure Day comes out today. If you haven't seen it already, I did see it. I will be releasing a non-spoiler review later today. And then I'm going to release a spoiler review, but not till next week. I wanted to go through the weekend and let people have a chance to see it before I put that out. All right, Robert. Another super sticker. Robert's just hitting us with the super stickers today. Thank you, Robert. JP flies a drone. Nothing here. Disappointed I'm not seeing the videos that changed my opinion on the matter and made me appreciate there's something. Eric Burleson mentioned the video I'm talking about in a video, but nothing to see here. Yeah, I don't think there's anything to see here either. And they talked, a lot about videos, right? They've talked about these 4K IFOs, what I would call them, identified flying objects, stuff that they're like, this is alien. We know there's alien, but that can't come out, right? So clearly this unresolved stuff is just not exciting at all, right? And they've already released the best stuff. And what was included in the best stuff, the last tranche? Balloons, birds, quite literally balloons. Not all of them, but you could clearly see some of them. And they were included in the good files. So again, it's just a lot of historical stuff that is interesting, again, from a historical perspective. But I think many of us, at least I am, I'm here for the alien shit. I want to see the alien stuff, you know? And they're kind of just funneling these interesting historical stuff, thinking that's the files people want to see. That's not the files people want to see. That's not what, when people were like, we want to see the UFO files, they didn't mean this, right? So will there be another tranche, another release of files? I don't know. I don't think so. Right? We got like 5 or 6 videos on this one. I mean, again, they're just reaching now to just grab anything. They're going to start uploading clips of alien movies. You know, the next thing, the next tranche of files is going to have a clip of Will Smith saying "Welcome to Earth," like that. That's the kind of files we're getting. So yeah, pretty disappointed in this. Again, historical perspective, cool. Alien perspective, not cool. Robert again with a super sticker. Just look at Robert, man. I think he fell asleep on the button, y'all. I think Robert fell asleep on the button. He just sending all these super stickers in. But thank you for the support, Robert. Much appreciated. All right, Mr. Knightman says, any potential Latin species names pending for the 4 species and plasmoids? I can help. I can make good ones. Orbis plasmae albi altiores. Okay, I like it. The 4 species and the okay, I see what you're talking about. At the press conference that happened this past Tuesday where David Grush spoke, Burleson, a lot of different people spoke, right? They had that press conference. I did a live stream with Gino from the Y-Files, and David Grush was asked about alien species, and he gave an answer everyone was talking about, mainly because it was like, wait, what did he just say? And he said there were plasmoid sentient beings, right? And bipedal, right? 2 feet, 2 legs beings. But he didn't state how many species we're aware of. And again, why is the focus not on that only? I'm just saying, it's really important to put out these tranche of files that people got to spend hours digging through to just realize it's nothing special. Not when it comes from us trying to find out about aliens. Again, from a historical perspective, I'll keep repeating that. It is interesting, but I don't need that now. Put that on another site. This is supposed to be, where's the alien shit that allegedly is there, right? So, yeah. Jay Carroll says, I think it's distraction from the other files. Epstein. Could be. It could be, and I got to be honest, I'm not going to rule that out. Not going to rule that out. Yeah, it's pretty, I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's clearly not a good file release. Some of you may think it is, and it's interesting. There's data, and this, totally get it. But we said we're going to show you alien files. This ain't it. None of it's been it, right? None of it's been it at all. Mid Operator says, really love your channel, sir. Great work. Do these vids change your thinking at all? Have they visited us, or does it make you more skeptical? Has made me become more skeptical. My level of skepticism and open-mindedness is always the same. I'm on cruise control. I'm always skeptical, but I'm always open-minded. Because the topic goes like this. So I'm not going to make my mind go like this either. I remain like this, steady. I'm skeptical of everything, but also open-minded to it. Always. And I'm not afraid to call out things I personally don't find interesting, but someone else may find it interesting. That's fine. I just give my opinion. But yeah, I remain the same, as far as that goes. So for me personally, these vids did nothing for me, any of the files so far. And maybe somebody will find something in the PDFs. But again, it's like we got to dig through and all this stuff, and the files they featured right? That was a new thing they did for this tranche of files that they hadn't done for the other two releases, which was feature files, right? They had them highlighted in green, like these are the ones you should look at. These are important ones. And they were shit from an alien perspective, from trying to prove aliens and bring disclosure and this and that. So, yeah, I mean, if there's another tranche of files, it's just going to be more shit. I think people are absolutely losing interest in these file tranches and just like, you know, nothing. And whatever. That doesn't mean that there isn't this cover up happening and that we don't have alien bodies and alien craft. That could very well be true, but nothing that they've released in these 3 releases of files dating back to May, a part of this Pursuit Act from the Trump administration, has made me think any more about that. My level of confidence in that reality of a cover up and aliens, and I'm no more confident in that because of these files. These files have done nothing for me when it comes to that perspective. Again, a lot of interesting things just from a historical perspective for sure, because I like history and vintage stuff, and that's kind of cool. But aliens, I ain't seen nothing yet. Not even close, in fact. Which does kind of suck. All right, Robert is sending another super sticker. But I'm just gonna let the live stream go and let Robert just send super stickers all night. You know what I mean? Just turn off the camera, guys. We'll all go about our day. We'll just let Robert hitting us with the super stickers. I really appreciate Robert, man. I love it. Beautiful. Yeah, again, will there be another tranche of files released? I seriously doubt it. But if there is, these are just nothing really to pay attention to. Will I cover it on a live stream? Of course, because at the end of the day, you never know. Right? So that, they're always going to dangle that carrot, and you always kind of have to, well, there could be, damn it. So let me check. And then you're disappointed because you kind of know there's not going to be anything there. Right? I would have bet money there was nothing of value in this tranche of files. But at the same time, you never know. And that's kind of, they have us by the balls. Sorry, kids, earmuffs. They got us by the balls or whatever you got down there. They know that even if we're upset, even if we're frustrated, even if we're complaining, if they release something that says UFO, we're there. At least us nerds, like, me and most of y'all watching, right? Us nerds, we're like, fuck it. We'll show up for this because you never know. But if you want to dig in further, feel free to. If this was enough for you, I get it. Honestly, I get it. If I saw this live stream myself, I'd say, yeah, that's enough. I'm good. I don't need to see anymore. Thank you for showing me that. That's it. That's the gist. Again, they highlighted what the best stuff is. They're telling us out of all the files, hey, these are the best ones. And they were shit. So what makes you think looking deep further into this stuff is going to find you anything that leads for disclosure or proof of extraterrestrial life from our government? Highly doubt it. I would bet everything I have there's nothing in there. Again, could be some interesting things, historical things, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not here for that. And I don't think most people are here for that either. And I don't think they understood the assignment. I don't think the Trump administration understood the assignment when, we were like, we want the UFO files. And to be fair, I think nothing against them, but just a little pushback. I think Representative Luna, Burleson really should have been pushing for better files and should have been more involved with this and should have let us know that this is not going to be exciting. Right? Because they keep telling us there's this exciting stuff to keep us tuning in, to keep us liking tweets, keep us liking videos and sharing videos and making videos, right? And commenting and giving them support. They keep telling us there's this exciting stuff that never comes out. So we have to live vicariously through their excitement, right? And that's getting old. It's just getting old. How long is the public, and I'm going to include the UFO community, How long is the public and the UFO community going to withstand this, right? How long are we going to keep placating, going, oh, okay, next file. Oh, it'll be better next time. Oh, there's something exciting that's just around the corner. Okay, we're here. We're not going anywhere. How many people are going to stick around? Right? How long before you go home? Right? If you showed up to see a concert of your favorite band and they come out, the guy comes out on the mic, you know, a roadie, and says, oh, the band is going to be a minute. It's just going to be a few more minutes, but they're coming out. Don't worry. They're coming out. And then an hour later, they come out and say the same thing. And then another hour later, they come out and say the same thing, and the same thing, and the same thing, and the same. That's what's happening. We're being told that the band is coming out on stage anytime now. Problem is, it's been forever. I don't think they're coming. So guess what? People are going to start anyway. Right? Fucking one-hit wonders. I'm out of here. Right? Pay the tab. Head home. Get some Chinese. That's where I feel like we're at. The big show has been promised and completely undelivered, in my opinion. And some people say, Patrick, you're being a pessimist. No, I'm not. For those that are my age or maybe older, right? I'm 46. It's called being a realist. That's all it is. I'm not upset by it. It just is what it is. I'm just a realist. I'm just not going to waste my time with it. That's it. That's the end of it. So look, Mr. Nightman 2000 says, give us the indisputable evidence. It's almost a point of no return, or some people are going to get embarrassed. No more antidotes. Done with them. Exactly. This is what's going to happen. You keep promising things to people and not delivering. It's just going to upset people. Again, you can only say for so long. There's this exciting shit that I've seen, and there's this exciting shit that's going to come out eventually. Right? How long is that going to last? People are going to get tired of that real soon. And they keep inviting people, more people, to come see it. Right? Yikes. JP Flies a Drone says, the next time you talk to Corbell, can you ask him if he saw the 4K stuff? I can't think of a single DoD ISR platform that stores for historics in 4K, maybe 4K in real time, but for storage, I don't know of any. Okay. Yeah, again, they're saying there's 4K footage, and I don't really care about 4K footage. They're saying they have evidence of alien bodies and alien craft. So I don't even care to see a 4K UFO video, an 8K, 12K, 20K UFO video. I want to see the IFO videos, the identified flying objects that they've said are alien. That's the ones. Again, all this other stuff is just fluff. It's just to appease the Trump administration. Now the Trump administration is like, yeah, see, we did stuff for y'all. We released UFO files. No, you didn't. You released bullshit. Now, any promise the Trump administration is going to make, a lot of people are just going to be severely disappointed. Although they'll try to spin it in the news, and there'll be UFO personalities and researchers spinning it like this was a good thing, and you should be happy with what you got, basically. Hey, we shit in your mouth. Be happy with that. Don't complain. At least you got shit in your mouth. Some people didn't get anything in their mouth. You got shit. So just be happy. Fuck that. We got to push back. If we don't push back, then they're just going to keep shitting in our mouth. I'm sorry to be so grotesque here, but if you don't push back and demand the evidence, it's their claims. It's not like we invented it. They're the ones that are saying behind the scenes, UFO personalities and whistleblowers and Congress members, they're the ones saying that there's this extraordinary evidence, not us. We're literally just asking for what they said exists, right? It's like if you go to a restaurant and they tell you there's a special, and then you order the special, and then the waiter's like, what the fuck? Why'd you order that? But bitch, you told me there's a special. I'm just ordering what you told me. It's, you know what I mean? What do you mean? You told me about it. I didn't invent the dish and ask the chef to make me a special plate. I'm literally ordering what you said there was. And that's all that's happening. We're ordering what they said they had. And I think we got to, in my opinion, just keep demanding that. And it's okay to get upset and say, hey, this is bullshit. This is not good stuff. Why spin it? Why try to polish it? Whatever, you know, it's if it's not good, it's not good. Nothing wrong with demanding the stuff that they claim to have that is really good. So, all right, at this point, I'm just going to be repeating myself. So anyway, make sure to hit that like button on your way out. Make sure to comment down below what you think of all these files. Again, if you're interested in seeing the files for yourself, let me put it up on the screen. Go to war.gov/UFO. You can check it out for yourself. And that's really the gist of it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I do want to say thank you to everyone that supported Vetted's first feature-length documentary that's out now, Psionics. I really appreciate all the support there. It's available on our website, psionics.film. There's been a ton of support, and I can't thank everybody enough. Seen some great reviews of the film, and people seem to really enjoy it. And, you know, apparently it's kind of funny too. You know, of course, I added some levity to the film, right? And our director did as well. So anyway, please go to psionics.film and help support us. Independent filmmaking, independent investigations, right? No government involvement, no bullshit. Trying to, you know, boots on the ground research here. So if you want to support more stuff like that, this is how you do it. So anyway, I'm going to leave y'all with the trailer of the film, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Look for my Disclosure Day non-spoiler review coming out later today. Steven Spielberg's brand new film that opens worldwide today. And I saw it yesterday, and I will be releasing a film about it, and then a spoiler review later. But this review that I released today, non-spoiler, all right? So you can hear what I think of the film. All right, Vetters, we'll see you in the next one. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all.
For years, mankind has explored hidden powers of the mind. Most dismissed it as science fiction.
It is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what we're doing believing in all this nonsense over all these years.
But what if they were wrong? What if you could summon UFOs? With your mind. What if you had the power inside of you? All this time, would you try it? Would you be afraid? Or would you just go for it?
Because these are going nuts.
They're going off.
And you interact with them, you form a bond. Oh no, you can't record any of this. Turn it off.
Turn it off for a second.
Controversial, huh? That's my middle name.
It's like it turned on and got brighter for 1 second.
Yeah.
I know there's aliens inside there.
Did you see that, Patrick? Oh my god.
Did you hear that? Something is in the bushes right behind you, dude.
I'm ready to see something. If you're willing to show it to me, I'm open. I just want to see what you are. And I look up, and there are these orange lights that are just drifting above the tree line.
I just don't even know what I'm doing with my life.